Hi, my name is Vivian. I was the only kid of super rich parents who adored me. I grew up in a fancy house and was sent to the best schools. On my first day in middle school, a pretty girl walked up to me and immediately put her arm through mine. My daddy says you can tell a lot about someone from their car. And wow, girl, you're richy rich. I'm Brenda, and we're friends now, okay? Later that day at recess, I saw a girl from our class eating alone. Hey, why don't we ask that girl to join us? Nuh-uh. I told everyone we're bringing smoked salmon bagels for lunch, and she brought gross egg sandwiches. That's poor people food. No one in class is gonna talk to her now. That's the rule. I'm sorry, but that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I joined the girl at her table and swapped my lunch with hers while everyone gasped. I'd broken the rule. That day onwards, Brenda hated me with a vengeance. She tried to beat me at everything: grades, friends, clothes. One day in 8th grade, she came up to me and said proudly, "I got my period before you." Ha! I hit puberty first. This girl was crazy. I could hardly stand her. But then one day in 9th grade, something terrible happened and everything changed. Dad fled to some other country with all our money and left us with tons of debt. Mom had to pay it by selling almost everything we owned, including the house. By the next day, the news had spread across the school and Brenda came running to me. OMG, look at that. Super poor. Now that's one thing I can't beat you at. You're the clear winner here. But her laughter soon turned into cries when we discovered that my mom married her dad, and she was my stepsis now. What the freaking fish? You cannot be part of my family. Gosh, someone just pinched me. It's definitely a nightmare. Well, I did what she asked for, and she went completely nuts. Dad, I want you to get a divorce right now. This woman definitely married you for money, and her daughter is a loser. What am I going to tell my friends at school? Oh, Brenda, what are you talking about? I'm so happy you're my sister. We'll get along so well. Get away from me, you witch. She stormed off angrily. I was going to have so much fun teasing her. But a few weeks later, I woke up one morning and noticed some I had to refuse because of Brenda. Good job, scaredy cat. You got what you wanted, right? Now leave me alone. Oh, not just yet, honey. I want you to cut all ties with Jacob and leave him alone. You're crazy, and you're a freak, and I know your secret. Remember that. I loved Jacob, but I had no choice but to listen to Brenda. The very next day, I broke up with him. I'm sorry, Jacob. It's just not working out between us. But Vivian, listen to me. He kept calling and texting, but I couldn't. I felt terrible. For the next few days, Brenda kept dancing around him and teased me about it. She was so evil. Then a few days later, while I was walking down the corridor, Jacob pulled my hand into an empty classroom. Hey, wait, what are you... Before I could even finish my sentence, he just pulled me close and kissed me. I wasn't expecting that. But, whoa, it felt like heaven.
I know everything about what Brenda did to you, and I want to tell you, I love you for who you are.
But how did you know?
After you broke up with me, she kept pestering me all day long, but I told her I only love you. Then she got mad at me and told me about your condition. I instantly knew why you broke up with me.
Oh, Jacob, I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. I love you so much.
I know, Viv. I love you too, sweetie.
Of course, we started dating again because I wasn't afraid of anything anymore. The guy I loved me back for who I was, and I was the happiest. Of course, Brenda looked livid. Before the junior prom, Jacob prepared a big surprise for me in the cafeteria and asked me to the prom in front of everyone. OMG! It was all so romantic, and of course I was going to say yes. But just then, Brenda threw a jug full of water over me and all my makeup washed away. And everyone was looking at me. This trash? You want to go out with her instead of me? I'm practically perfect, and not some weirdo like Miss Patches here.
Brenda, you're a complete nutjob. What's wrong?
I held him back and stepped up in front of Brenda. Brenda, since the day I met you, you've only cared about stupid things like money and looks. But those things aren't going to get you friends or love. You'll be all alone one day because you don't care about anyone except yourself, and that makes you ugly. And soon everyone around her started shouting at her. Yes, Brenda, Vivian is beautiful inside and out, and you're awful. You're trash, Brenda. You're a cheater, too. Brenda ran from there, and I turned to kiss Jacob. Everyone cheered for us and congratulated us. Later that day, I went home and told Mom and Dad about everything Brenda did to me, and they decided to send her away to a boarding school for spoiled brats. Jacob and I continued to face.
And your body? Get away from me.
I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me whole as Tanner and Brenda stared at me. Is this what I think it is? OMG, you're a freak! I expected Brenda to act like a jerk, but Tanner, he just ran away from there like I was some monster, and that really hurt. The next day at school, I couldn't find him anywhere, but then I saw something that completely shocked me. Tanner and Brenda were sharing the longest kiss in the history of the planet behind the school. And then he said,
OMG, babe, I think I love you, and I'm going crazy for you.
Crazy for her? Hey, you literally just said that to me yesterday, jerk.
Love you? I would never. Look at yourself. Only someone blind can love you.
As I was just about to punch out his perfect teeth, Brenda stepped in and stopped me. Hey, stay away from my guy, or I'll tell everyone your little secret. Poor Viv. You know what? Take him. He's a jerk like you, and you guys belong together. After that, I made sure to stay away from those loonies. I didn't want to give her a reason to tell my secret to everyone. Soon after we started 10th grade, our teacher introduced a new student, Jacob, to the class, and I could see all the girls drooling over him. In the chemistry lab, everyone wanted to be his partner, but to my surprise, he walked over to my corner and said,
Hey, you don't mind me joining you, do you?
Of course I didn't. But while we were performing the experiment, I accidentally opened the wrong chemical flask and almost fainted from its smell. Just then, Jacob caught me in his arms and carried me to the nurse's room. He even stayed there till I felt better. Hey, what are you doing here?
I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
OMG, he was so strong and such an angel. After that, we spent a lot of time studying and hanging out together. My life was close to getting perfect, but then Brenda happened again. I could see she was into Jacob, and she'd follow him everywhere. Once when Jacob and I were walking down the corridor, she started walking unsteadily and crying out, Oh, I feel so dizzy. I'm gonna pass out. Someone, please hold me. I knew what she was up to, so I held back Jacob's hand and she fell to the ground. What do you think you're doing, witch? Saving you trouble. She then got up and whispered in my ear, Don't you dare lay your hands on what Brenda wants, or your little secret will be out, princess. Psycho, don't you already have a boyfriend? What's your point? He's hotter, and what Brenda likes, Brenda takes. I knew once Brenda had her eyes on something, she was either gonna take it or ruin it, and that scared me. So later that day, when Jacob asked me on a movie date, I had to refuse because of... A few weeks later, I woke up one morning and noticed some light-colored patches on my hands. I thought it was just an allergy, so I covered it with a little makeup. But I was wrong. Within weeks, my entire body was covered with patches. I told Mom and she immediately took me to the doctor.
I'm afraid she has a skin condition called vitiligo.
No, it can't be. I cried all the way home and locked myself in the room. I couldn't believe I had to live with this condition my entire life. Honey, please open the door and let me in. You're still pretty, I promise. But no matter what Mom said, I knew things were just gonna be tough from now on. And I couldn't let anyone know, especially Brenda. So I started wearing tons of makeup and full-sleeved clothes to cover my skin. But Brenda even started picking on me for that. Wearing such tacky clothes in the summer? You must have gone crazy because of the heat. And saying that, she threw a glass full of juice over my clothes. Here, beat the heat, jerk. This was it. I jumped her and grabbed her hair, and soon the argument turned into a crazy fight. Obviously, we ended up in the principal's office, but I was the only one who got punished. Vivian, 1 week of detention for you. Any more of this nonsense and you'll be kicked out of the school for good. As I stormed off angrily, Brenda pushed me as she walked by. I have a rich daddy. Too bad yours didn't like you enough to stay. Later, in the detention room, while I was listening to music, someone pulled out my earplugs. Hey, what the... I looked up to see a really cute guy, and my heart skipped a beat.
Your eyes, they're stunning.
What? Really? These old things?
I'm Tanner, by the way. So, how was someone as charming as you in detention?
Oh, yeah, it was all a big misunderstanding.
I'm sure, because there's no way an angel like you could do something wrong.
OMG, he was so cute. For the next week, I got to see him every day, and we kind of became friends. But I was afraid he might not like me if he discovered my secret. One night while I was changing into my nightwear, the lights were off and I saw a shadow sneak in from my bedroom window, and I screamed. Suddenly, someone put a hand on my mouth and said,
Hey, relax, it's me.
Don't shout. Tanner, what are you even doing here?
I just came to tell you that. I think I love you, Viv. I'm going crazy for you.
Saying that, he pulled me closer to kiss me. But just then, Brenda barged into my room, and to my horror, she switched on the lights. Ha! Caught you. Wait a sec. What's wrong with your freaking skin?
OMG, gross. What's that on your face? And your body?